At the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo, the men's 1,500 meters unfolded with the world's best pushing the pace from the start. Portugal's Nader stayed deep in the pack, quietly tracking every move. Then, in the final stretch, he unleashed a powerful sprint that carried him past the leaders and into one of the most shocking victories of the season. The result stunned everyone watching. Nader, ranked 8th in the world and barely mentioned before the race, had just achieved Portugal's first men's 1,500-meter world title. His finishing kick was one of the fastest ever recorded in championship history, a perfect blend of timing, strength, and belief. For a nation with little middle-distance tradition, Nader's run instantly became a defining moment in Portuguese athletics. Nader's winning time? 3:34:10. But it wasn't just about the clock. It was about how he got there. With just 100 meters to go, he was still in 5th place, trailing the likes of Wightman, Cheruiyot, Cheruiyot, and Dutch phenom Niels Laros. What followed was a masterclass in timing, grit, and raw speed. In that final stretch, Nader exploded down the home stretch with a closing 100 meters in 12.28 seconds. His last 200? A lightning-fast 25.32. And the final lap? A jaw-dropping 51.3 seconds. He didn't just pass the field, he tore through it. Wightman, who had made what looked like the race-winning move with 200 meters to go, could only watch in disbelief as Nader edged past at the line by just 0.02 seconds. The result? Portugal's first ever men's 1,500 meters world title, a victory that wasn't supposed to happen, a win no one predicted, and yet it was undeniable. What made the race even more dramatic was the chaos leading up to it. The men's 1,500 meters had already been flipped on its head before the gun even went off. The defending champion, Kerr, was expected to be a major factor, but a sudden calf injury during the final left him limping to a last-place finish. Olympic champion Ingebrigtsen didn't even make it out of the first round, still recovering from an Achilles issue. US star Yared Nuguse failed to qualify for Worlds, and Hocker, the reigning Olympic gold medalist, was shockingly disqualified in the semifinals after a clash with Germany's Robert Farken. Suddenly, the field was wide open, but even then, few looked at Nader. All eyes were on Niels Laros, the 20-year-old Dutch phenom who had dominated the Diamond League all season. With 200 meters to go, Laros was in prime position, stalking Cheruiyot, a former world champ known for his front-running style. Behind them, Wightman was surging, looking like he was about to complete one of the most emotional comebacks in recent history. Wightman, the 2022 world champion, had battled through years of injuries and setbacks, and now, in front of a roaring Tokyo crowd, he was back at the front of a world final. His father, Jeff Wightman, once again served as the stadium announcer, just like in Eugene 3 years earlier. It was the perfect setup, a poetic finish in the making. But that's when Nader struck. From 5th place with less than 100 meters remaining, he launched a kick so fierce, so sudden, it caught even the most seasoned veterans off guard. He passed Laros, he passed Cheruiyot, then Cheruiyot, and with just meters left, he surged past Wightman. The stadium gasped, the clock stopped, and the result flashed. Nader 3:34:10. Wightman, Cheruiyot.
I believe in this medal very long time. I'm first Portuguese win gold medal in 1500 meters. I speak for a very long time of this day.
The top 3 were separated by just 0.15 seconds. It was one of the closest and most thrilling 1,500-meter finishes in championship history, closer than many 100-meter sprints. Wightman, heartbroken but dignified, accepted the silver. Cheruiyot, just 21 years old, claimed bronze, his first global medal. Laros, who many expected to win, faded badly to finish 5th. Cheruiyot, once the dominant force in the event, couldn't respond in the final straight. For Nader, the gold was more than just a medal. It was a personal and national milestone. "I am emotionally tired, but very happy," he said after the race. "I am speechless. Today I am a world champion, and there is only one bigger title, the Olympic gold." Until that night in Tokyo, Nader had been a name known primarily within European circles. He had won the Portuguese indoor titles in the 1,000, 500 meters, and 3,000 meters back in 2021. In 2023, he picked up silver at the European Games, and in early 2025, he took bronze at the European Indoor Championships. Solid results, but nothing that screamed world champion. That changed quickly. In June 2025, Nader quietly ran one of the fastest 1,500 meters times of the year, 3:29.37 inches Ostrava. Just days earlier, he had also recorded an impressive one, 43.86 inches, the 800 meters in Guadalajara. The signs were there, his fitness was peaking, but few outside Portugal were paying attention. Born in Faro, Portugal to a Moroccan father and Portuguese mother, Nader comes from a family with deep athletic roots. He's the nephew of Hassan Nader, a former Moroccan international footballer. At the club level, he represents SL Benfica, Portugal's legendary multi-sport club. But no amount of pedigree could have predicted what unfolded in Tokyo. The 1,500 meters has long been a battleground of unpredictability. Since 2015, the world title has been won by 6 different men. There's no dominant dynasty, no unbeatable star. It's one of the few events where strategy, nerves, and timing can overpower reputation and resume. And now, Isaac Nader is part of that chaos. His victory adds another name to the ever-growing list of surprise world champions. But what separates Nader is how he won. That closing speed, especially his final 100 meters, was almost absurd for a middle-distance race. Most 800-meter runners can't close that fast. Nader's blend of 800 meters strength and 1,500 meters strategy makes him uniquely dangerous. So what does this mean for the future? For starters, the hierarchy of men's middle-distance running just got a lot more complicated. Ingebrigtsen will return. So will Hocker, Kerr, and Laros. But now, every pre-race favorite will have to account for Nader, the silent killer with a final gear few can match. Wightman's silver only confirms that he's still among the best. His comeback is one of the great stories of this championship, but even he acknowledged post-race that there was nothing he could have done to hold off Nader's finishing kick. The field is deeper, more talented, and more unpredictable than ever. And Isaac Nader has officially thrown his name into the mix of future Olympic contenders. More than just a surprise, his win was a lesson. In a sport that often crowns the expected, it was a reminder that greatness can come from anywhere. That one perfect race, timed just right, can shift everything. Isaac Nader's gold wasn't just earned in the last 100 meters, it was forged in years of quiet grinding, of near misses, of being overlooked. He didn't just take a medal. He took control of his story. And as we look toward the next Olympics, one thing is clear: no one will ever underestimate Isaac Nader again. He's no longer the underdog. He's the man to beat. And the 1,500 meters, it just got a whole lot more exciting.
Chippy, can he turn it into a gold medal for Botswana? Chippy becomes the first ever champion for Botswana.
No one saw this coming. In Tokyo, a 21-year-old from Botswana just made history with one of the greatest upsets ever run. Busang Colin Chippy, a name few outside of Africa had heard before, shocked the athletics world by winning gold in the men's 400 meters, beating out Olympic legends and running the fastest time of the year. And just like that, a quiet young man became a national hero and the new face of sprinting. Here's how he did it. In a championship loaded with unpredictability, no one expected the greatest story of the men's 400 meters at the 2025 World Athletics Championships in Tokyo to come from this young runner. The 400 meters final was already unusual. The heavy favorites were gone. Olympic champion Quincy Hall was sidelined with injury. Paris silver medalist Matthew Hudson-Smith and bronze medalist Muzala Samukunga couldn't even make it out of the semifinals. It was supposed to be a wide-open race between rising stars, but what unfolded was the rise of a phenomenon. Chippy, racing in lane 6, burst onto the scene with a jaw-dropping 43.53 seconds, setting a new national record, the fastest time of the season, and the kind of result that sends shockwaves through the sport. He led Botswana to its first-ever men's world title in an individual track event, and he made it look effortless.
I'm still in shock, but coach have been telling me since warm-up, he's been telling me, man, you are ready, stop doubting yourself, so go and do your thing.
His path to this moment was years in the making. Born in Hukunsi, Botswana, on the 13th of February 2004, Chippy was no stranger to the podium. He first made waves in 2021 as part of Botswana's gold medal-winning 4x400M team at the World U20 Championships. A year later, he helped his country win gold again at the African Championships in both the men's and mixed 4x400M relays. In 2023, he won the African U 2400 meters crown with a championship record of 44.91. That same year, he tested his talent in Europe and lowered his personal best to 44.8 inches, the Budapest World Championships semifinals. Though he didn't make the final in Paris 2024, Cheruiyot helped Botswana clinch a historic silver in the 4x400m relay. That Olympic medal hinted at what was coming, and in 2025, he exploded. Starting the season strong, he went toe-to-toe with global elites on the Diamond League circuit, running consistent times: 44.53 inches Xiamen, 44.63 inches Shanghai, 44.51 inches Rome. Despite a modest 7th-place finish in Zurich's Diamond League final, Cheruiyot had gained something more valuable than a podium experience. By the time he stepped onto the track in Tokyo, he was no longer just a contender, he was a force. In the heats on September 14, Cheruiyot ran a smooth 44.48. Then came the semifinals, where he shattered his personal best with a 43.61, already a world-leading time. But even that didn't hint at what he would do next. Under heavy rain on September 18, with the world watching and the track glistening, Cheruiyot ran the race of his life. With composure beyond his years, he left the field behind, stopping the clock at 43.53 seconds. Behind him, Trinidad and Tobago's Ingebrigtsen gave a valiant chase, claiming silver in a national record of 43.72. Botswana's Biapo Ndori surged through for bronze in 44.2, marking a historic moment. 2 Botswana athletes on the world podium. Cheruiyot's reaction was almost disbelief. Getting a gold medal is the dream come true for us. I didn't expect it to come so early at this age, but it shows I can do even more in the coming years. For Botswana, this wasn't just a win, it was a breakthrough. Cheruiyot became the country's first male individual world champion. Add Ndori's bronze and their team performance in the 4x400m relay, and Botswana's presence in global athletics reached an all-time high. What makes Cheruiyot's victory even more remarkable is how tactically sound it was. South Africa's Zakithi Nene, who had run the fastest time of the season prior to Tokyo with a 43.76, tried to blow the race open early, but Cheruiyot stayed patient, running his own race. That restraint and timing allowed him to power through the final 100 meters with control, while others faded. The conditions were tough. Rain can often derail even the best performances, but Cheruiyot adapted like a veteran, keeping his form and rhythm intact through the downpour. Where others hesitated, he found another gear. Ingebrigtsen, a seasoned competitor at 31, reflected on his own achievement. Finally, I've been struggling for this since 2017. To improve the national record in the World Championships final was one of my dreams. Another goal was to grab the gold. Not this time, but I am satisfied with second. Biapo Ndori, Cheruiyot's teammate, was equally in awe. We are very surprised. We never thought this would happen, he admitted. Yet it had. Botswana was now the talk of Tokyo. And the story wasn't finished. Days later, Cheruiyot anchored Botswana to gold in the 4x400m relay, giving the nation 2 golds and a bronze at the championships. What had once been considered a minor sprinting nation was now a global powerhouse in the quarter mile. Botswana's sprinting rise is no accident. Leading the charge is Olympic 200 meters champion Letsile Tebogo, whose blistering times and confident performances have inspired a new generation. Ndori has evolved into one of the world's most consistent relay performers. And now, Cheruiyot, a 21-year-old who just ran the 6th fastest time in history, is the face of that revolution. To understand just how significant 43.53 seconds is, consider this. Only a few men in history have ever gone faster. Michael Johnson's 43.18 from 1999 and Wade van Niekerk's 43.03 from 2016 remain the benchmarks. Cheruiyot's Tokyo performance places him in the company of legends, and he's just getting started. His versatility adds another layer. Cheruiyot also boasts a 200 meters personal best of 20.28 seconds, meaning his range extends well beyond a single event. With youth on his side and a proven ability to deliver on the biggest stage, it's not a question of if he will win again, it's how much more he will dominate. This performance also signals a broader shift in athletics. For decades, the men's 400 meters has been ruled by the US, Grenada, South Africa, and select Caribbean nations. Botswana's ascent represents a new chapter, a rising African nation claiming space in an elite club. Cheruiyot's Tokyo win is more than a medal, it's a moment, a defining event in 2025, a challenge to the status quo, a sign that the sport's future isn't just in the hands of familiar faces, but in those bold enough to rewrite history. As a final statement, Cheruiyot's impact goes beyond numbers and medals. He represents the voice of a new era, young, bold, and fearless. While the world's eyes were on traditional favorites, this soft-spoken runner emerged from the shadows to become a household name. And in doing so, he not only gave Botswana its proudest athletics moment, but also showed us all that greatness doesn't always come with headlines in advance, it sometimes comes with a storm. When the rain cleared that night in Tokyo, the track had a new king, and his name was Busang Colin Kebenetshipi. The world better get used to it.
Watch for Cheruiyot on the outside, and Timothy Cheruiyot on the inside. And Nader coming wide for Portugal. Nader for Portugal from Wightman on the...
Jake Wightman was running towards the finish line with the gold medal almost in his hands in Tokyo. He was winning the race. His dad was talking on the stadium speakers, telling everyone what was happening. It looked like Jake was about to win his second world title. But then, in the last few steps before the finish, something shocking happened that nobody expected. So what really happened in those final seconds? And how did Jake even make it to this race after years of terrible injuries? Let's start from the beginning and find out the full story. Back in 2022, Jake Wightman shocked the world. He beat the best runners on the planet to win the World Championship 1,500-meter title in Eugene, Oregon. His father, Jeff, was the stadium announcer that day, and he got to tell the whole crowd that his own son just became world champion. It was like a movie.
He's closing, but he's looked over his shoulder. Jake Wightman with the performance of his lifetime. He joins Steve Cram as a world champion.
But after that amazing moment, everything fell apart. First, Jake hurt his foot in 2023. Not just a small injury, he broke his foot while doing jumping exercises. That injury was so bad he couldn't run for months. He had to miss the entire 2023 season. He couldn't even try to defend his world title in Budapest. Then, in 2024, things got even worse. Jake tore his calf muscle. After that healed, he tore his hamstring. This happened just 1 week before the Paris Olympics. Jake was already with the British team, already wearing his Olympic uniform at their training camp, but he had to pull out. He couldn't race. Jake later said these weren't small problems. He explained, "I wasn't getting niggles. I was getting 2-month injuries every single time, and it wasn't the same recurring one. Every time he thought he was getting better, a completely different part of his body would break down." The injuries kept coming. In early 2025, Jake hurt his knee. The meniscus in his knee was torn, and he needed surgery. Doctors had to cut away the damaged part. All of this took a huge toll on Jake's mind. He was 31 years old now. Most runners retire by that age. He started wondering if his body was done. Jake admitted, "I probably got a little PTSD, almost, with what happened with these injuries. That's how bad it was." The injuries hurt his mind as much as his body. The relationship with his father became really hard too. For 15 years, Jeff had been Jake's coach. They'd been together through everything. But the pressure and stress of all the injuries made things difficult between them. In March 2025, Jake made a painful decision. He announced he wouldn't be coached by his father anymore. Jake wrote on Instagram, "The point has come in my career where both physically and mentally we both need to go our separate ways. By doing this, we ensure there's plenty more to come in the future. Not as a coach divided by athlete, but as a father divided by son, away from the intensity and stress of training and racing." It was an incredibly hard choice, but Jake knew he had to try something different. He said, "You can't just keep hammering the same stuff and expect the same outcome." So Jake made huge changes to his whole life. He started working with a new coach, John Hartigan, who is actually the father of Jake's fiancée, Georgie. Jake and Georgie moved from London, where they'd lived for 8 years, all the way to Manchester. Why Manchester? To be closer to Jake's physiotherapist, the person who could help fix his broken body. Jake completely changed how he trained too. He ran fewer miles each week. He did more cross-training instead of just running. He cut back on the really hard workouts. He was learning to respect what his body could handle instead of pushing it too far. But even with all these changes, Jake still had doubts. He said, "Honestly, it has been a very, very bleak couple of years for me. A lot of times I doubted if I could make it back to this level." When Jake got on the bus to go to his first race at the World Championships in Tokyo, he made a promise to himself. If he didn't make it through that first round, he was done. He would quit running forever. He was 31, his body kept breaking, and he didn't know if he had anything left. Meanwhile, the 2025 World Championships were supposed to be all about other runners. Everyone was excited to see a rematch from the Paris Olympics. The Olympic final the year before had been incredible, with 4 amazing runners battling it out. But one by one, all those Olympic stars disappeared. Yared Nuguse, who won bronze at the Olympics, didn't even make the American team. He finished 5th at the US Championships. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, one of the biggest stars in running, got hurt too. He had problems with his Achilles tendon and couldn't train properly. He tried to race anyway, but got eliminated in the very first round in Tokyo. Cole Hocker won the Olympic gold medal, but he got disqualified in the semifinals in Tokyo. The officials said he pushed Germany's Robert Farken unfairly while trying to get past him. That left Josh Kerr, who won Olympic silver. Kerr was the defending world champion too, so everyone thought he would win. But during the final race, something terrible happened. After just 900 meters, Kerr's calf muscle seized up. He started limping badly. He was in so much pain but kept trying to run. Eventually, he could barely move and finished in last place, more than 30 seconds behind everyone else.